supposed to say something, and they always.
Well, I mean, it must be Tuesday.
And that it is. It's Tuesday. We in the building, man. Down in sports, I am left-handed, um, aka RM Das on Twitter, which is this right now. And over there is Yada Bear, aka Philly, Philly, aka High Ceiling, aka Browski in the building. What's good with you? You keep it cool?
Oh man, trying my best, man. It's crazy, man. This heat is out of this world.
Yeah.
It's so crazy that like once you get in the house, it's like you try to cool down and it like takes forever to cool down, you know.
Mm-mm.
But we got what, one more day of it being ridiculous hot, and then it's supposed to cool down a little bit, and then the heat wave supposed to start again on Monday. So it's like,
Listen, check this out. That's Yada Bear in the building, man. Holding down in sports for utter keeps on and you don't stop. I was talking to my people, right?
yeah,
And I'm like, yeah, it's 90 degrees. Whoop de woo. It's hot. Like, do the right thing. It's blazing hip hop and R&B. It's mad hot. Whoop de woo. To me, being from New York, it's a normal thing. And then here's the other part, Browski. A lot of these cats, they twine about, oh, it's so hot, it's ridiculous. You never been down south?
yeah,
Have you ever been down south?
yeah,
Not you, Kimmy. I'm just saying in
yeah,
general.
yeah.
Have you ever been down south? That hot is different, right? So again, you don't want to be caught out there because it takes your breath away, yo. As soon as you step outside, it's like you might as well stick your head in the oven.
See, it's the humidity. See, it's not just
Yeah,
the
yeah,
heat;
yeah.
it's the
Browski,
humidity.
Browski with the weather report, y'all.
You
He
know,
got it locked with down in
it's
sports.
so like the humidity is what like just take you by the throat and just like
Mm.
choke you out. Like you
Mm-hmm.
said, that's what
Like Tyrese Halliburton.
like, listen.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I'm sorry. But yeah. It does a number on you, man. It
It
makes you
does.
not want to be out there. Again, at the end of the day, man, stay cool, stay hydrated. Word up. Stay in the house. Stay around some AC. You know what I mean? Because it's seriously ridiculously hot.
And make
For
sure you
real,
drink
for
a
real.
lot
Yep.
of water.
Yep. Absolutely. That's what it is. So we get ready to get into a thing. We was just behind the scenes chopping it up about the tomorrow's upcoming NBA draft, and wow, like the can the Oklahoma City Thunder salute the Oklahoma City Thunder? Can they have their championship reign? Can they enjoy it for like a week before the NBA draft? Broski's in now, son, and
Listen, once
and
it's
and,
over, it's
and
over. Move
it's
on.
over, right? You know what I mean? Now it's back to it's back to square one.
Yo, they just but
Um,
hold on. They just had
uh,
what the game was on Sunday. They
mm-hmm.
had the parade what today or yesterday?
Today was the parade,
Today and then tomorrow's the draft. It's
and tomorrow's the draft.
such a quick turnaround.
It's wild. So Sam Presti and Dagno and maybe the Thunder as an organization, they don't really get to even enjoy the parade because they got to get back to work
Back to
on
business.
trying to make the defend the title that they just won.
Yeah, I mean they
So
got picked.
it's crazy how it works, man. It's crazy how it works. The NBA is it's a year-round thing, and you don't really even get to enjoy
Mm-mm.
the fruits of your labor, man. We're not gonna get into the Oklahoma City Thunder championship parade. They did what they did. A lot of people was clowning it. I felt like from what I seen, they had a good time. Salute to Shea Gilgis Alexander. Salute to their organization, man.
If
Oklahoma City
people was
on some real stuff, Browski.
yeah.
Oklahoma City kind of needed that.
Yeah,
You know what I
like
mean?
I heard people was clowning that it wasn't that many people there, and I'm like, well, it's Oklahoma City. It's not that many
Right,
people in
right. How
Oklahoma
many people do
City.
you expect to be there?
I'm like, it's not like it's Philly or New York. Like they don't have millions
Right,
of people that
right,
live there. I'm like,
right.
but they had a nice crowd. Um,
It was yep,
Listen, they did
yep.
something that Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, James Harden couldn't do it all. They brought a
Kendrick
championship.
Perkins,
Yeah, they brought a
Scott Brooks.
championship
Right.
to um, OKC. They did what they had to do. They were the best team all year. We
Mm-hmm.
got it done in 7 games.
Mm-hmm.
It was a really good series. Um, and now it's over. Now we talking about the draft. Now we talking about next year.
Yeah, yeah, and Oklahoma City might not be done. You know what I mean? So and again,
Exactly.
they've got a Christmas list of draft picks. You know what I mean? In
They
the upcoming
still do.
future and things of that nature. Um, we were talking behind the scenes, and the question I asked about was regarding NIL because I noticed a lot of freshmen coming out in this NBA draft, and these guys are talented enough to where the way the money's being spread out. They should have some kind of NIL situation going on where they don't have to necessarily leave school, but it's certain circumstances. And Browski broke it down. She was like, "Yeah, it's a number of dynamics that come into play for that." Because I was like, "Well, damn, where's Dylan Harper's NIL bread at?" I know Cooper Flag got some bread. I mean, even though his situation might be different because Duke notwithstanding,
Yeah.
Cooper Flag notwithstanding, so he might not be in that type of scenario where somebody else who's a little bit not financially like that might need the NIL money. But I was just wondering, like, why would these kids come out if they touching that NIL bread like that?
Yeah.
And it was just a thought that I had. But NBA draft. The movement starting already. You see Kevin Durant went to the Houston Rockets, which is a yawn move for me, right? Um, he goes to Houston. Houston gave up what Jalen Green, and they gave up Dylan Brooks and some draft picks, right? For
Kevin.
Kevin Durant.
Mhm.
Then Drew Holiday went to Portland, right? For the kid Anthony Simon, right?
Yep.
Um, Kristaps Porzingis went to Atlanta,
Yep.
right? I think it was a three team deal
Yeah.
with
Atlanta, the
Atlanta, Boston,
Nets.
and Brooklyn,
Yeah.
huh?
Mhm.
Yeah, in Brooklyn, yeah, no doubt.
Mhm.
So the pieces are being moved already, and again, um, these teams are not playing.
Well,
You know what I mean?
with
Go ahead, Bubba.
the Boston move, that's something that
Mm-hmm.
I've been seeing was going to happen, a while ago, ever since they gave Jalen Brown that money and also Jason Tatum, because you had all this money tied into these players who are injury prone. I mean, Drew Holiday has been hurt on and off this whole season. Porzingis was basically a non-factor in the playoffs because he had some
Mm-hmm.
type of illness that he just could not get over. Even though he helped them win the championship the prior year, but it's like, what have you done for me lately? And you have a whole bunch of money tied up with these guys. You still have a whole bunch of money tied up in the organization that just recently got sold, new ownership. They looking at this like, we got all this money tied in all these players. Jason Tatum is hurt. We don't know how long he's going to be out for. It could be the whole season. You still have Derek White that you gave a bag to. You know, you got Jalen Brown, 300 mil. Jason Tatum, what, almost 350, like 330
Mm.
something mil. So that's basically almost $500 million with just three guys. So them moving Drew Holiday and Porzingis, it was bound to happen. They had to make it happen. I mean, Drew Holiday, you signed him to like $115 million contract like 2 years ago. Porzingis, you just gave this guy like $85 million. It was too much money, and you still got to figure out what you're going to do with these other three contracts because you can't sustain that amount of debt with three guys and one of them being injured. And the other
Mm.
one, you don't know who the leader of the team is. You don't know if it's Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum. So to me, one of them guys are going to be gone.
Mm.
Um, if not Derek White also. So I can see Boston starting to rebuild. It's going to be a rebuild slash reboot in Boston because of the financial situation that they put themselves in to get that title. So now they got the title. Now you got to unload all of these bad contracts because it's too much
And
money.
basically start all over.
Exactly. Yeah. So a lot of moves will be making. I feel like gonna be some more trades coming up. Especially on draft day. Um, this draft is a little weird, because it's like the first two picks, Cooper Flag, Dylan Harper, and then we get to that third pick, which my Sixers have, and we got this guy in Ace Bailey who just refused to meet with any teams and do any workouts, which is weird to me. Like I don't understand this generation. It's like
It's bananas.
it's
It doesn't make
it
sense.
doesn't and it's crazy because I can see if it was just all right. Well, I'm not gonna work out for this team, or I'm not gonna work out for the Sixers. But it's like he's not working out for any team.
What does that What does that say to you?
That says that he thinks he's the prize when we are the prize. The organization is the prize. It don't matter what
That's
team you go to. That team is the prize. You are not the prize. You are interviewing
Let's go.
for a spot on my team. That's what these workouts are. These are interviews to see if you fit. See what we seen in these tapes really translate in our faces. And you telling me that I'm not going to interview with you. I'm not doing any workouts with you. Y'all got my tapes. Y'all saw what I did in school. That's in school, bro.
You ain't worth you not worth my time.
Yeah, so like him doing it, it's really hurting his draft stock. He can fall to like 5 or 6 just because of attitude alone, and it just,
They go Shador him.
I mean, it's looking that way, but I don't think he's gonna fall that much. But it's just a weird situation that he put himself in. He did this to himself, like. So I don't understand like what his agent is saying to him, like what is his people saying to him. It's like it's weird.
He's one of those. He's one of those Kimmy, where I say he feels like it's a right to be in the NBA, not a privilege. Like
Yeah, yeah,
you decided you didn't want to work out for none of these franchises that could change your life, your family's life, and generations down the line. You got to show up. But here's my thing, Kimmy Bear. Hold up. You know how I give it up. I talked about you. I talked about you and your man, Dylan Harper.
yeah. You did.
Right? I bigged y'all up.
Yeah, you
Rosky was
did.
laughing at me. She
Yeah,
was like,
you
I don't know
did.
where you coming from with that. I ain't never heard it. This and that and the third. I was like, yo, watch. Rutgers going to be the truth.
Mhm.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You got hurt. You played for a losing team.
Yeah.
17 and 18, I think they were.
Yeah.
But still, no. Did you make the Big Ten tournament? Because you know it's 18 teams in the Big Ten,
It, it wasn't one of
right?
them.
So, what in your mind, your educated mind, you went to Rutgers, right? For about 20 minutes, right? You
Exactly.
went to
2
Rutgers,
seconds.
right? What in your educated mind makes you think if you're not the consensus number one pick in the draft, what makes you think that you nice enough to not even show up for these professional National Basketball Association established franchises that's going to be around before you was born
Yeah.
and going to still be around after your career in the NBA is over?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
me, I'm kind of bugging out because when did you really show? I mean, you had some games, you got some talent, things of that nature, but you acting like the game needs you, B. The
He
game don't need you.
he acting like he's the second coming of Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan out there, and it's crazy because he made a comment where like what did he say? It was damn, it was right there, but he made like a weird comment about like not the reason why he's not going. I'm like, I'm like, this guy is weird. And Kenyon Martin, he talked about it, and he basically said, if I was in the front office, I wouldn't draft this guy at all. He was like, I wouldn't draft him at all. And I was like, you know what? I said, I kind of agree. Like, your attitude stay. Oh no, okay. This is what he said. Ace Family said he wants to be a part of an organization where like he's like the focus. Like he don't want to, be like the second or third option. Bro, you are a rookie. You are
That makes it
always
even worse.
and
That
when
makes it
and,
even
and when you
worse.
look at the top three teams in the who got the top three pick, you got Dallas, who got number two?
San
San
Antonio,
Antonio, and then the Sixers. You will always be an option. You'll never be the top option because they already had their top guys. Like when you look at Dallas, they have AD and they have Kyrie when he comes back. Cooper Flag will always be an option. He's not going to be the guy yet. Just like in San Antonio.
not yet, right?
Yeah,
Not yet.
when Darren Harper go to San Antonio, you have Wembanyama, who's the
Right.
franchise guy there,
And Castile, right?
and Cast. So you won't be the guy. You're going to be one of the guys. You
Right.
could be the guy, but just not right now. So you telling me you don't want to come to a team that have Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, and right now Paul George, but you want to be the guy. You want the offense to flow around you. Who are you? Who are you?
And what team is he
Who
gonna go to
who?
that he gonna be the guy?
And I'm saying, who are you? Like, don't get me wrong. You played at Rutgers. It wasn't like you played at Duke, North Carolina. One of these
When
big,
you played,
big, historic, colleges that plays on a pro schedule with you know crazy talent. You played at Rutgers, bro. And like you said, you didn't even make the Big East tournament. Like you didn't even make the dance. But you want to be the guy. Like it's good to have confidence in yourself, but don't be cocky when you have nothing to show.
and you know what? You said it all. I don't really have to even add on to that. Because again, for me, coming from another perspective, it's like why would you even you playing yourself? Like, first of all, the question is like now is for me is do you want to get drafted or not?
Yeah,
Because wherever you go, you're not going to be the guy,
not.
right? So when you get drafted, whether it be by uh, Philly, whether it be by Utah or whoever else is coming up in the draft,
Mm-hmm.
how many games you think you're gonna win next year? You might not win as many as you won last year at Rutgers.
Yeah, depending on the
So
situation that you go
what?
to,
And yeah, and you're gonna be the man. What doing? What?
yeah, doing what you
Carrying
doing for
carrying the
Rutgers.
veterans bags? Like, come on, yo. Like, and again, people liked you and they talked about you and your man about doing something at Rutgers. And now, to me, in my opinion, it just seems like you played Rutgers out just to get an NBA look.
Yeah,
And now you're going to have to handle that NBA look because it's
yeah,
coming.
yeah.
It's coming quick, right? And you're not handling it the way a mature uh, person who's supposed to, coming into his own, about to be his own man, is going about there. Like you said, Browski, what's your agent telling you, man?
Exactly. What
What's the people in your circle telling you? They think that's a smart move.
It's not very smart.
It's not smart at all. So, again, and time is going to tell.
Yep.
When he's sitting in that green room or looking around at those empty chairs
And you just still sitting there.
and watching money fly out the window,
Exactly.
go down the toilet, however you want to put it,
Yeah, because
because that's where it's going.
the lower you go, the lower that check is.
Yep, yep.
But
And then your agent gonna be looking at you sideways. You
it,
gonna be looking at your agent sideways.
yeah,
Your family gonna be looking at your agent sideways, and
family
then
gonna be looking at
nobody in
you
your family gonna be
sideways.
looking at you sideways because you are the butter to the bread.
Exactly. Exactly. So
So that's gonna be interesting to see, just that particular case. What other names stand out to you in this draft coming up tomorrow night?
uh You got the kid from from Baylor. What is this kid name? Hold on, cause I know the Sixers
You
was
talk about
looking.
B.J. Edgecombe.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Um, he looked interested, but like I said, like this draft is weird to me because like no real name really sticks out after like the first like five. I want to say. So I mean, the Sixers doesn't have really good. We don't have really good draft memories. Okay, here in Philadelphia when we
Well,
had
at least you got a draft pick.
the the top picks. True, but we always tend to mess it up. You know, we don't
Mm.
have really good.
Y'all better get Howie Roseman in
Listen,
the
I
war
said the
room.
same thing. I said, listen, Howard should be in every sports, major sports team in Philly war room, okay? Because he would make some type of deal where out of nowhere you'd be like, how did the Sixers end up keeping Joel and Tyrese Maxey, and they have I don't know, Jalen Brown and somebody else in 18. But um, it's a toss up right now. You know, we don't even know if we're going to keep the pick. We don't know if we're going to trade the pick. They don't know who they're going to draft because in the beginning, you know, it would look like everything was a go for the kid Ace Bailey, and then he started talking nonsense, not coming to workouts, canceling it. So then, you know, it's going to be interesting to see what we do and to see what other teams do in this draft. But I mean, we'll we'll see. You know, a lot of people were talking about the other kid from Oklahoma, Jeremiah Fears. Like people been talking about
Mm-hmm.
him. Um, the kid Trey Johnson, the kid from out of Duke, Kanobo, the shooter, the guard who can shoot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so there's names out there. You got a couple international players from France. You know, France somehow has become a hot commodity for the NBA draft. You notice that a lot of French players coming into the
The kid,
league.
well, who was that kid that they drafted? That Atlanta drafted, Ricochet. He
Mhm.
was from France, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
it's
yeah,
like
yeah. So
it's
like
like
you
the
said, yeah, France is a
Wembanyama
hotbed. Yeah.
movement has started. You
Mm-hmm.
know, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of French players are coming into the league. So
Wembayama, right? Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
you
Mm-hmm.
know, the kid that Washington drafted, I think he was French also too. So I don't know. It's
Oh, okay. I forgot his name. Yeah, okay. I forgot
yeah.
his name.
But tomorrow should be interesting. You know, like I said, after the first two picks, it's like the draft starts in the third round where we don't know if it's going to be Ace Bailey, if it's going to be VJ, if we're going to trade. We don't know. So, um, what's up with your Knicks and this coaching?
Yeah, they yeah, they got to figure it out because I think now they're scrambling now.
Yeah, it seemed like everybody that they try to reach out to is getting extensions from their team. The only person who's not getting an extension who has said anything is Jason Kidd. And now that, you know, KD then went to Houston. Um,
Yeah.
we still don't know about Giannis. You know, that kind of quiet down some, and you see all the other movements happening. You know, in the East. When we look at the East for next season, I mean, the East is really still wide open because now we don't know. Again, the curse of wearing number 0 in the East. You know,
Is that a real curse or just a wild coincidence?
I kind of feel like it could be. I feel like both can be true. You know, both can be true because you look at Dame, Jason. and now Tyrese, um, all wearing number 0, all getting their Achilles popped in the playoffs. But I knew that was going to happen with Tyrese. You know, as soon as he started talking about his hamstring and his calf, and when he played in Game 6, and I was like,
Hmm.
I said, I know it's the finals. I'm like, but I feel like he shouldn't be playing in Game 6. I'm like, I feel like he gonna pop that. His Achilles gonna pop because we have seen it happen. We saw it happen with KD. We saw it happen with Clay. Like coming back, and I think that's why Steph didn't play because he could have been on that list too. And as soon as he went down, I was like, that was it. As soon as he went down, I knew exactly what it was. I said the Achilles went. You know, so hopefully he has a quick, speedy, healthy recovery.
You talking about Tyrese Halliburton?
Yeah, because I mean,
Listen,
he gave it his
check this
all.
out.
He gave it
He
his
gave
all.
it his all right. He
Yeah,
he he
he
gave it
gave
his
it his
all.
Achilles.
He choked the wrong part of his body. He should have been choking his Achilles, or he choked his neck. And
Listen,
see, this
look,
is what
don't
happens
don't don't
when you
don't be
miss. The basketball
sorry.
gods don't like ugly,
Don't be
right?
sorry because he
Win
beat
the
the
title
Knicks.
first, right? And as a Knicks fan, like you got your just desserts, your just rewards.
See,
I feel
I
sorry for
knew.
you.
I was waiting
I
for the
feel sorry
hatred.
for you, but man, hey, listen.
I was waiting for
Nobody
the
felt
hatred to
sorry.
come out.
Nobody felt sorry when Jalen Brunson got hurt in Game 7 last year.
Yeah,
Nobody
we
felt
did. We
sorry.
felt
So
bad.
and then at the end of the day, and all that garbage you was talking, and all this and that and the third, you reap what you sow, Playboy. So that's what happened. And
I knew
again,
it.
as
I
a
was
as a Knicks
waiting. I
fan,
was waiting for you to
yeah, you
spill
already
your
know.
to
You
spill
already
your
know.
hate.
That's easy
To
work.
spill
That's
your
easy
hate
work.
on this
You know
guy.
what I'm
I was
saying?
I was waiting for that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So
I
that
was
the
waiting on
the
it. But I mean,
uh,
listen, it just crazy that happened to these guys during the playoffs. How they all
yeah,
wearing number
that's
0.
messed up.
It's a wild thing, all in the East. It was super wild, but like you said, it's over and done with. Um, we may be seeing him in 2027.
I mean, is this a good look going into the new so-called new era of the NBA, where it's going to be back on NBC, and a lot of the top players in the league are not going to be around, at least at the beginning of the season. Some of them might miss the season in totality. Oh yeah, C.J. McCollum got traded too
Oh yeah,
to the Wizards. Yeah, so from the Pelicans, for Jordan Poole. Yeah, so again, it's messed up how those players back in the days, they played in canvas sneakers, they played in those leather cons. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And
yeah.
when did you ever hear about somebody get their Achilles tendon hurt? Somebody Jordan broke his foot. You know what I mean? But these Achilles tendons and all this stuff, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And like you said, happening to elite level players,
Mhm.
and then those all happen to wear the number 0,
Yeah.
which is spooky.
It is. It's
Um,
so spooky.
yeah, but that's just the way of the world. Um, what is your thoughts on the NBA season as this past NBA season as a whole?
I thought this season was it was a decent season. This was a season where it kind of shows us where the NBA is going when the LeBrons and the Steph Currys and the Kevin Durant, leave. The young guys really stepped up, stepped forward, and really put the league on their shoulders. It was quite entertaining, and it was refreshing. I'll say that. I'll say refreshing because we didn't have the same old, same old. Everybody want to see Steph Curry, LeBron, KD. These guys in the
Continue that
playoffs. And
saga.
yeah, like
Hmm.
just running the narrative. And this year it was like it was the younger guys, it was the new guys. You got SGAs, Halliburton's, Jalen Bronsons. You know, you had team like Houston. Bunch of young
Mm-hmm.
guys
Detroit. Mm-hmm.
running. Detroit. The Cade Cunninghams of the likes.
Mm-hmm.
The Sewell Thompsons, the Jalen
Yeah, right,
Greens,
right.
and
Salute.
then
Mm-hmm.
and then you see like the kind of like the change of the guard where you see like KD wasn't as dominating as he generally is, and you see that the LeBron factor didn't really matter, and you see
They start telling the truth
yeah,
about him, right?
and you see that these playoffs was actually entertaining and interesting without those marquee names. Some people
Right.
may think like, oh my God, like we need LeBron, we need stuff like, but these are the people that's afraid of change, and the change is coming quicker than most anticipate. I mean, how many more seasons do you expect LeBron to play? He's already going to what, his 23rd, 22nd, 23rd season coming up. Like,
22nd.
like
Mm-hmm.
that's crazy. How many more years do you think KD have, and Steph Curry have, and James Harden have? It's time to move forward, and I feel like we're just afraid to see what the league is going to look like without those players,
Mm.
because
Mm.
when you think about it, when Kobe Bryant retired, it wasn't that much of a drop off because we had LeBron James and Dwayne Wade and Carmelo Anthony. Like, we already had young stars who established themselves
Right.
in
They
the
were ready
league.
to take the league to the next
Yeah.
step. Right.
So
Mm-hmm.
now, when those guys are retiring, and now we're at the end of LeBron's career and KD's career and Steph's career, it's like, well, who who's the superstar?
Who's gonna fill that void? Right.
Who's the superstar? Because, like I said, when Kobe retired, we had LeBron James as the next
Mm-hmm.
superstar. So
Mm-hmm.
now, when LeBron James retired, who's going to be that superstar? To fill that void. We don't know. It's a big question mark because the league is so wishy washy. One moment we thought it was gonna be Ja Morant. You know, he can't stop with the finger guns. He can't stop with the guns. So now it's not him. Then, we thought, oh, maybe it's gonna be Anthony Edwards. He said he don't want
Right.
it. He said, I don't want to be.
Yeah,
I don't
he
want to
don't
be the
want to
face
be
of the
right.
league. I don't want to do that.
Let somebody else do
Yeah,
that.
let
Right.
somebody else do
Mm-hmm.
that. Now,
I'm too busy. I'm too busy doing other
yeah,
things.
and now the league's pushing Wimby in our faces, but it's like, yeah, he's cool, but he's not flashy. He don't talk. He's not out in the media. He's not out in the clubs. He's not on TMZ. It's just not. He's boring. He's a boring guy. So now we gotta look at now we're looking back at maybe it's Luca. Who knows? We don't know who the face of the league is going to be. Maybe it will be many faces. Maybe it won't just be one face. Maybe it'll be a collective of these young talented guys, and there'll be the new era of the NBA. Maybe we don't need one face. Maybe we have several faces to help with that. But I feel like I think that's the problem because we're so used to having that one really marquee superstar, Jordan, Kobe, LeBron. Who's next? So I think it's up in the air.
Um, you hit on a lot of points. I mean, again, I think, in my opinion, the season it ended up better than it started.
Hmm.
The season started, just was going on, the motions. Cleveland Cavaliers was going crazy, and when like they were like 24-3 or something like that,
Yeah.
they was going berserk. Um, People didn't really get interested in it because of, people again around the holidays. They'll get caught up into the NBA.
Mhm.
Holidays came and went. They had 5 games on Christmas, right? Then here comes the All Star weekend. That was tremendously inept, if I can use that word. It was not needed. It was ill conceived. It was not what us as NBA fans are used to. We're looking forward to see
Mhm.
the 3-point contest, the skills competition, the slam dunk contest. That's even watered down now.
It was bad.
So how could you water down the game, which is supposed to be the crown jewel of the whole weekend,
Yep.
and turn that into a hodgepodge mismatch that nobody know what the hell is going on? So we passed that hurdle. We talked about it. We talked about it. We was upset. We talked about it, right?
Yep.
People started falling by the wayside. You know, we had the Joel Embiid saga in Philly,
Yep.
right? We had things going on. We had some people get moved around and things of that nature, right? Boom. Everything's getting set up for the playoffs. My New York Knicks putting the cart before the horse. We get to do what we do, and we went a step further than we did last year, but it didn't feel the same. Okay. Then came the coaching purge. If you won a championship in the last 5 years
You got fired.
and you still with the same team, you are a lucky man.
Yeah.
What Bernie Mac said? You's a lucky man. That's serious.
No, it's
Because
true.
we look at these coaches, Browski, and we like, well, isn't the objective to win a championship?
Yeah,
Isn't
2
that
years.
supposed to be the number one way to keep your job?
Yep. They
Right?
they win the championship 2 years later. They get fired.
Get fired.
It was every
Not
two
let
years.
go. Let's fire it. Like, yo, you get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Like, how does that work? And so now, that happens, and everybody's going crazy or whatever, and then the playoffs come. We got these upstart teams that we're not used to seeing. They're used to Rockets, Detroit Pistons. Browski talked about it. We got
Mhm.
guys that we didn't see. You know what I mean? Um, and it turned out that the young guns were ready because we always say, Browski, you got to lose before you win,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And so these young upstart dudes out of Oklahoma City who had their own little process going on because some guys that they had drafted, they had to wait for, right?
Mhm.
And had the MVP of the league, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, with his supporting cast. We talked about them 2 years ago about being a team
Yep.
on the come up, right?
Yep.
So they won the championship. But as we started off the beginning of the show, wow, that came and went because tomorrow is the NBA draft.
Yep.
So the front office, Sam Presti and Mark Daniel and the ownership and all of that, they get to sell. They had the parade today, which was, a parade,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And now they go from celebrating that to getting the war room ready.
Yep. Getting
And
ready for
having to,
next year.
and Browski having to be on point. Some of them dudes might be hungover.
A lot of them gonna be
But
hungover.
you know what I mean? Kid me? Yeah, let's.
A lot of them gonna be
You know what I
hungover.
mean?
A lot of it.
Like,
It
so
should have been the early
listen,
night.
listen, but they don't have they have the last pick of the first round or something like that, right? So again, they'll be all right.
Yeah.
But again, salute to Oklahoma City, and they do what they do, and get ready for next year because it'll be here before you know it. Word up. Down in Sports Talk, we're in the building Tuesday night. Browski's in the house, holding it down. I just wanted to show that, Browski. The Florida Panthers won the Stanley Cup. Okay, you can go
Two
now.
times.
Okay. Browski's not interested at all. MLB Chop Up. What's up with your Phillies, Browski?
Um.
What's the report?
Well, we just had a really good series win against the Mets. Um.
You're supposed to say that from your
No,
larynx.
well, I mean, it's early. You know, we still got a couple more series, but it was good to get back because we got swept by them early on in New York. So they came here in Philly, and it was good to get that series win. Anytime we beat the Mets is always a great time because we hate the Mets here. I like a lot of places, but tonight we're playing. We started a series, a three-game series against Houston. In Houston right now, um, 0-0, like in the fourth, and then right now, um, it's still early on. Bryce Harper's still out of the lineup. He's been out for like 21 days. Aaron Noah's still been out. He's going to be out for like another month. They didn't say when Bryce is supposed to be coming back. So it's just the grind of the summer. Um, truthfully, the big story of this season has been the emergence of the catcher out in Seattle, Kyle. He's been killing it. Um, they've been talking about him, early favorites to be the MVP. Haven't had a catcher as an MVP in a while. That generally goes to pitchers or one of the skill position guys. Really not a catcher as like a AL MVP. But it's the heart of the summer. Summertime, summer grind. Baseball is a grind. So still got a long season. You got the All Star break coming up soon, fastly approaching. That's in a couple of weeks. Trade deadline fastly approaching too. Hopefully, my team makes some moves. There already been some moves made around the league, but we just gotta see what's gonna happen. A lot of people talking about uh, um, the Dodgers. With Shohei now, um, starting to get in the starting lineup with the rotation pitching. Um, so summertime baseball. Looked like my man left kind of had some technical difficulties. I know he wants to get back on here to talk about his Yankees, what was going on in New York. Um, One thing I do have to say about the NL, it's been a month since Ronald Acuna Jr. been back with the Braves. He's been killing it. I think for the month that he was here, I think he hit about what 5 or 6 home runs. His first month back, so I know the Braves are happy having him back in the lineup. Um, I know I'm not happy to see him back in the lineup, because we gotta play the Braves coming up soon. But he's been killing it his first month back. Oh, there you go.
1-2,
Someone's coming back in the building.
1-2.
Yep, I hear you, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we back in the building. Hold it down. What was you saying, Browski?
I was saying about how Ronald Acuna Jr. has been killing it his first month back in the league. He got about 5, 6 home runs in his first month back. Um, he really put a little spark in Atlanta since he been back. And I was also talking about the guy his name Kyle Raleigh in Seattle,
In Seattle, the catcher.
the catcher who's been killing it. And I was saying, like, how everybody has him, early odds of winning the MVP. And I'm like, well, we haven't had a catcher win the MVP in a while, like didn't Buster
A long
Posey
time.
didn't Buster Posey win? Did he win?
I think Buster Posey did win the MVP.
He won the MVP. Another his name.
Maybe Yadier Molina.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what
So
I
it's
mean?
it's been a
So
while since a catcher has won the MVP, and but this guy he's been killing it. I think he got the most home runs in the league right
he
now.
got 31 home runs. The
Yeah,
most home runs ever by a catcher before the All Star break.
yeah. So I'm like, to have a catcher be leading the way for MVP. I'm like, that Jimmy go to like one of the skills players. So
I
I'm like,
mean, again, he's carrying that lineup, and who are they not talking about in Seattle? The guy who, you know what I mean? No disrespect, but it just is what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like, when you got Cal Rowley, carrying the club doing what he's supposed to do with 31 home runs, and they're still not talking about Julio Rodriguez, man. You know what I mean? I mean, we don't, beat around the bush. We gonna say
yeah,
your name. You know what I mean? Imagine if Julio Rodriguez was playing the way he was supposed to be playing, because again, they touted him as one of those next superstar dudes. And
no,
again,
definitely.
me myself, I haven't seen it yet. You know what I mean? No disrespect to him, and I think if Seattle had a little bit more from Julio Rodriguez, they would really be challenging the Rangers and the Astros and stuff like that. But like
No,
you
they
said,
would.
Cal Rowley is doing his numbers.
Yeah, and no, that's true. Julio Rodriguez has definitely been a disappointment. I think his
Ha!
first,
You said it.
his
Send your emails to Browski.
no, he
And
has.
she's
I
right though.
mean,
You're right.
I
You're
mean,
right.
his
Shit,
first
you can send them to
season,
me. I don't care. You're right.
they was jumping out the gate about this guy. He's amazing. Um,
Yep.
he,
He gonna make you forget about Griffey.
oh my God, when they said that,
Yes.
I said,
All of
whoa.
that.
I said,
All of
what?
that.
I said, whoa, the disrespect, number one on Griffey, and I'm like, well, okay, he had a couple of good moments, but I
Mm-hmm.
haven't seen him
Let's go,
have
Browski.
a great season. You know, they always, what do we say about the Mariners? They always fade away in September. You
Mm-hmm.
know, July,
Like the
August.
homie. When the Mariners was rocking, he was
Yeah,
calling the show and da 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 da. Salute to you, homie. I see you retweeted us on X. Salute. But yeah,
yeah,
man, we gonna keep it green over here, man. When the
yeah,
Seattle
like
Mariners
killing it.
faded away into the background like this.
And for real, and now that you have Kyle Rowley emerge as the big dog in that clubhouse, where I thought it was supposed to be Julio Rodriguez Jr. You know, it makes you
And
think.
they got a squad. They got a squad. They got the homie Aranza Reyna. They
Yeah,
got him. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And they got J.P. Crawford.
yes.
They got a little squad going on there in Seattle, man. And again,
It's the
Julio Rodriguez is supposed to be the guy that we're talking about, but we're talking about Cal Rowley, which is well deserved.
yeah,
But it's like he hits a home run every hour.
yeah. I feel like every game he's hitting a home run. It's like wait a minute. I'm like, oh, he hit a home run yet? Oh, don't worry. He's come up the bat in the ninth, and then pow, here's a home run. It's like this guy is test him. He's on
Okay, Dowski,
something.
I'm gonna put you on the spot. All Star game in a couple of weeks. Who is I'm gonna say American League. I know what you're gonna say. Who is your American League starting pitcher?
American League starting pitcher.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, you gotta go. Ah,
See, this is the only time you catch Browski out there. She's thinking hard. The wheels are turning. You hear him turning? You hear him?
cause it's like
Browski
you
crazy.
wanna go. Like I wanna go. I wanna go with Detroit.
Uh-huh.
But I feel like that's the easy.
Mm-hmm. Browski's on the clock. American League starting pitcher for the All Star game. While she's pondering
I
that,
don't know. I don't know.
I wanted you to say Tariq Skubal. Did you say Detroit?
I, I,
You
I
know
just
what I
feel
mean?
like I feel like that's such the like the easy choice.
Mm.
Like, but he has been having a great season. Like, I can't deny that. I like him. I just don't like him on Detroit. But I would, yeah, it probably will be Scooble. I think he should be the starting pitcher. I can't deny it. I mean, who else would you put out there?
If it was up to me, my
Williams.
National League starting pitcher,
Well, National League.
who would be your National League starting pitcher?
I gotta
And
go
do not steal,
Skeens.
don't
Huh?
steal my name.
Who? Skeens?
No.
Go ahead. I'll go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
My pick for National League starting pitcher would be Shohei Ohtani.
I knew you was gonna
Yeah.
say this guy. Oh my
I
god.
was waiting for you to say it. I was waiting for you to say it, Browski.
I would
I
never
was, I was
say.
like,
I wouldn't. I don't. No. Why would I say
why?
Shohei?
Why?
Why would I say Shohei?
Why not?
Shohei.
Ski, Skeens is,
Shohei.
you see what's Paul Skeens' record? You see Paul Skeens' record? What is
It's
it
not
like
his
5,
fault.
6, and
It's not
7?
his
What is his record?
fault. It's
Huh?
not his fault. It's not his fault. His guys can't hit. Paul Skeens go out there. Paul Skeens go out.
Browski.
Look, Paul Skeens go out there, pitch 6 great innings. 6 great innings. These guys can't hit a freaking beach ball,
Mm.
okay? And you know, and you already know how I feel about these, managers yanking the starting pitcher out after 5 and 3/4 or 6 innings, and then you bring the bullpen in, and then now the bullpen's getting hit around,
Clobbered.
and now he
The bullpen's getting
be-
clobbered. Right.
because when you look at his record, it's like, man, it's like, my man, like, he has quality starts. They can't hit.
And the reason why I say Otani real quick because we got like 8 minutes left. We got to get
Good.
get down on it. The reason why I say Otani is because he's pitched already. All you need him to do is 1 inning, right,
Yeah.
for the look. That's all.
See,
1 inning
you
for the
just
look. That's it.
you
And,
just
and that's
looking
why
for
I
the
say
you
Otani.
just looking for the looks.
Yeah,
I'm
1 inning
looking.
for the look because that's all they're doing anyway.
And
That's what they're doing
that's
anyway.
that's
They
true.
doing them 1 inning for the look. You know
No,
what I
that's
mean?
true. That's true.
That would have been my pick. But yeah, Browski's in the building. You know how we give it up, man. Down in Sports Talk every Tuesday night, man, 8 o'clock till about 9. This is Browski's on a mission. This is Browski's favorite part of the show right here, when we get down on some things, talk about some things. You know what I mean? What's on your mind, Kimmy?
So, so earlier today when I was at work, I was listening to the homie FBJ, Florida Boy J, and they had a little discussion about what LeBron James had said about ring culture.
Okay.
Chasing rings, and the guy that he was speaking with posed a question, and I thought it was a really good question. He said, "Who had more impact in the NBA, LeBron James or Steph Curry?" I said, "Wow." I said, "That's a great, great question because I always say the most impactful player in this generation is Steph Curry." Of course, a lot of people call in and they want to say LeBron and blah 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 blah. But when we talk about how the game is played, it's Steph Curry is the correct answer because Steph Curry eliminated one position, which was the most important position before he came to the league, which was the center position. He took the game from inside the paint to beyond the art to the logo. He has
Hmm.
impacted the way this generation plays now. Everybody goes to the courts to shoot 3 pointers. Nobody practices to dunk anymore. Nobody wants to dunk. That's why the dunk
Rebound.
contest is trash now. Everybody wants to shoot 3 pointers. This is why we have 7 footers who can't get into the league unless they have a 3 point shot now.
Mm, mm.
You know, everybody 7-2 and all, you gotta have a 3 point shot. Joel Embiid has a 3 point shot. Wembanyama had the 3 point shot. Anthony Davis, Carl Anthony Towns, everybody has a 3 point shot. Porzingis shoots the three. Everybody shoots the three. And when and then when I think about LeBron, and I'm not gonna take away from what he did for the league. I think what he did for the league was more of off the court. Like he showed us how to be real business minded about basketball. He really took advantage of free agency and picking
Damn
where he
sure
wants
did.
to go.
Hmm.
You know, he put himself first because, like we said before, a coach will leave, a coach will get fired, a GM will, you know, bring in these players that don't compliment you at all. They will build a team that will never win a championship, and we have seen that with LeBron his first stint in Cleveland. So he took matters in his own hands to go to another place to build a team to win a championship with. So when I look at LeBron impact of how this NBA is, he made it more business minded. And I don't see anything wrong with that. He showed people, and not only business minded, but also health conscious of how to take care of your body. Because we have to give him credit for being able to play in this league for almost 22, 23 years without a super major injury. So he's, you know, put in these young guys' mind of being healthy, being, making sure that your body's in shape, being in shape. Look what happens when you're in shape. You can have a long career in the
Right.
NBA.
Right.
But when we talk about how the game is played now, it's definitely Steph Curry. Because he's the smallest guy on the court that has the biggest impact. Everybody can't be 6'10", 260 pounds, all muscle, going down the lane and dunking on people. It's not that many people built like that in the world, but there's a lot of people who's 6 foot, 6'1", 5'11", 5'10", who can shoot the ball and who can dribble
Got a mean jumper,
and
right?
got a mean jumper. So when I heard that, listening to that when I was at work, I said, "Wow." I said that's a really good question, and I definitely agree with some of the people when they was talking about Steph Curry, and salute to Florida boy Jay, because he definitely was on the Steph Curry train and he made a lot of
Salute the Florida boy Jay,
good
man.
points.
I wish I would have been on that conversation
Hmm.
because that would have been an easy one for me,
Yeah,
right? I'd have been like Curry all day because again, when you even ask a little kid, it's like LeBron's name doesn't come up. They want to be Curry,
yeah,
and like you said, they're gonna get the ball. With they inch high private eye, but they swear to God they can hit the 3 point shot.
all
So
day.
again, as far as impact on the game, definitely Steph Curry. And salute again to Florida boy Jay, man. And salute to Yada Bear Browski over there, aka High Ceiling, aka Phillies in the building all day, hard body karate. Um, before we get out of here, we got 1 minute and 20 seconds left. Who are the Sixers taking in the draft tomorrow night?
VJ.
Okay. You heard it here first. Browski says they're gonna take VJ Edgecombe
Yeah,
in the draft. Y'all be peace, stay cool, stay hydrated, and all that good stuff. That's Browski over there. His
drink your
left hand
water.
over here. RM Des on Twitter, which is this right now. Y'all be good because we got about 50 seconds to go. I want to shout out everybody. I want to shout out to you for listening to the show. I want to shout out to you for being on the show. I want to shout out to me for being on the show. I want to shout out to the Oklahoma City Thunder. I want to shout out Windwalker.
Yes,
His hour is
congratulations.
out. Cop that. Shout out to Odd Partners. It's coming. It's going down. We in the building. Shout out to everybody, man. The summer
Yes.
of Des is here. It has arrived.
There you
Right?
go.
You already know what it is. We'll talk to y'all next week. Browski, you be good and you be safe. All right.
Yes, you too.
Down in
Stay
Sports Stuff.
cool.
We out.
Peace.
Peace.